Gregg, how are you?
I'm good. It's Friday.
You're good. It's Friday. You're working and I'm not. I'm in my office and everybody in his vacation because here in Israel, I'm in Tel Aviv. It's Friday and all the Jewish people in their house, eating Shabbat dinner. It's Friday and I'm here with you because in LA, you're in LA, right?
I'm in San Diego, but hey, man, we're
Diego.
the
Yeah.
little LA. No,
For us, yeah, for us, in the States. And what time is it in the States now?
it's like 12:07 to be exact.
Okay, so thank you for being here with me. I have lots of questions, but first, it's funny because we wanted to do it for a long time, and I don't know who will listen and will see us. Maybe some people from Israel, some people from States, and I think it's a good opportunity to see the difference, the culture difference, and just talk about Z generation from your eyes, from my eyes, and marketing to generation and culture of Z generation. I think it's going to be very interesting for us, just to start and talk about. So
Absolutely,
maybe
the cultures across borders are are changing.
exactly,
It's a very like important topic for every global brand, almost every global brand.
it's true. So who are you?
Well,
Just
my name's Greg
tell
Witt.
tell yeah, who are you? Yeah, who is Greg Witt?
Who is
And,
this
and
guy?
then yeah, and then I will tell a story, how we met each other. So who is Greg Witt?
Hey, I'm Greg Witt. I'm a Pisces, and I'm a youth brand builder. That's what I've been doing since I was 16 years old when I first founded Good Time Skateboards, and led to building many successful youth marketing agencies. And my passion is bringing good people together to have an impact and build brand and drive business growth,
Yeah.
primarily with the tween, teen, and young adult and more niche cultural audiences is where I specialize.
Yeah, and I read in your website, you said that you can help brands to be more relevant because I guess knowing or understanding the Z generation, maybe it helps the brand to be more relevant, right?
Yeah, it does. It does. And I think most successful brands have begun to get their head around authenticity, about having like a foundation that's genuine, that that is got some roots and so forth. But as we evolve, the authenticity is very very important. But the relevance, the timing, the conveniences, the relevance of the speed and relevance of their product
Exactly.
services and so forth, and then the relevance of who they're relating to are becoming mission critical to succeed.
For every brand. Even not brands, that their products are aimed to the teens or to youth. It's for every brand who
Oh,
wants to stay relevant.
yeah, and importantly, not just for consumer brands, for B2B brands too. There's no limitation to the importance
Exactly.
of being relevant when the competition's this tough.
Exactly. So for those who listen, see us, I will introduce myself too. My name is Yaniv Waizman. As I said, before, I'm from Israel, Tel Aviv, and I'm the founder and the CEO of Think. Think, actually, it's a combination, the name of the company, of two words. It's teenagers and think, but how Israelis say think. We say, I think different, So I combine these two words. So think, when I visit the States, everybody said it's Think. They don't say think. And I'm just saying, no, it's Think. This is the name of the company. And it's a
It's
17
rap.
years old, yeah, it's a 17 years old company who specialize in marketing to Z generation. So, and maybe a few words about how we met. We have a mutual friend, Richard Jackson from Voxburner.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Richard.
yeah. And Richard was my guest here in Israel. We had a big conference, marketing to teens conference, the biggest conference here in Israel. And finally came to Israel and he was my guest. And just before he went back to London, he told me, there is a guy, Gregg Witt, and I think you need to know him. I think you are very familiar. He said, you need to talk and to know him. And then we had a Zoom meeting. And I felt like I met my lost brother, that someone who's specialized in Z generation. You wrote a book, right? The yellow book behind you. And I wrote a book, it's in Hebrew, but it's motivating. And it's where is your book? No, the other side.
There it is.
Yeah.
I know you have yellow cover, gold cover too.
Yeah. So we both wrote a yellow book about Z generation, and my companies think and your company think with Witt. So it's funny. And then we started talking and just dreaming about things that we can do together. So this is how we met. Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yes, I love it. So, and next week it's a YMS conference in LA.
That's right.
I won't be there. I'm going to London every year, but you will be there, right?
Yeah, I will be there. I will be there for the full day.
So write notes and we will do the next meeting and you tell me how was it.
I will.
So our excuse, for this meeting, if we're talking about differences between countries and cultures, is the reason is I wrote you, do you heard about gas? It's a new app. I just read about it a couple of days ago, and I read that it's just going up and up, and it's even more than TikTok. And I said, wait a minute, what is it? We never heard about it in Israel, and every teens heard about it in the States. So I thought to myself, it's a good opportunity to talk and just tell us here in Israel, what is gas?
Yeah, I mean, look, I knew there was an inkling of this app because it seems very similar to TBH, which is
TBH,
a past app where it gamifies location-based sort of gamification with individuals, typically younger individuals. And then I also, I think, discovered gas the number one in the free apps, maybe the same time as you.
So what is it? What it's all about? Gas.
Gas app. I don't know what their technical description is. My description of it, which might be wrong, is that it's an opportunity for. It's primarily targeting high school teenagers.
It's high school teenagers, yes.
And it's a creating sort of gamified positive interactions to. I think admiration, like positivity and admiration, seems to be the base essence of the foundation.
But anonymous, right? No one knows who you are. You just
right. It appears to be anonymous. I had to sign up with various like ages and schools so I could even get an idea of what happens. And still,
and you succeeded. You succeeded.
Yeah, I finally got because if it doesn't match, you are asked when you I have a funny screen to show you, but
yeah,
in a minute. But like when you sign up, you're asked what high school that you're from. It's been a while since I've been in high school, but the high school I was from is not in here. Some of the high schools in San Diego and LA were not in here, so I found high school somewhere in upstate New York, I think, and it didn't connect me to those people. It still connected me to people in my contacts. So it seems to be, it did seem to be pretty intelligent as far as not like throwing me into a mix of high school students.
Okay.
One, I think would be really inappropriate. Two, wouldn't give you that community connection to know anything about it. Cause like, for instance, actually, I know how to answer this one. Tell me if you can see it. This is one gamified question. It says, who rolls with the biggest squad?
Wow. And you just answer and no one knows it's you.
They don't know that it's you.
They don't know. And the word gas is like from gassing, like what is exactly?
A positive version of gassing, like it's gassing up, like, yo, this person.
Your ego. Yeah.
Yeah. That's important for like older people that don't get it. Like, it's not like gaslighting.
Yeah.
It's gassing up, like, what's up? This person's dope. This person's got the hype, and in this one, it's Dakota Alave, by the way. He's got the biggest squad, rolls with the biggest squad I know anyway. Dakota, I got your back.
Oh, and if you got like many flames, like you earn flames, it makes something. But I think first of all, it's great, and I think there is a bigger story there. I think behind the app, and it's all about being good to each other and about being kind, and we know as someone who work with the Z generation that there are a lot of toxic in social media, and suddenly someone came and said, okay, this is a new platform and it's just positive. Can you understand the connection between what he thought about Z generation and why Z generation really embraced this application?
I think that, like, if that they're embracing it, like, this is interesting. This is my strongest source of support.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little too early to say they're embracing it, just in the fact that I'm not sure how it, the App Store algorithm was hit to show that went above Be Real, that went above TikTok and free. It's difficult to find matching high schools,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a turnoff for a very narrow scope in this. But I think the gamification applications, admiring,
Yeah.
it's almost like a pre-dating without getting like perverted or sexual or anything. Like, it's very like kind in nature, but it is this admiration, and so it has like the feeling of almost a predating, like, oh, like, hey, I know you, but it can make you feel good. It can charge your dopamine. I see the potential here.
To feel the
I'm
potential,
hoping,
the potential to be kind, the potential to be good, the potential, to find a platform that, I hope that no toxic, it's a better place. And maybe this is the future where teens try to look for.
Yeah, I think so. I think it might be missing some features for mass adoption. Like, it seemed like to have no way to connect might be like a little bit too hands off. But the core concept is this admiration. Like, I like you, but like, I like you as like a person.
Yeah.
And the idea of gamifying interactions. So like, if you get, I'm trying to like see if I can articulate this right. There are ways to earn coins here.
Yeah,
and
flames.
Yeah. And then you can then like pick somebody that you want to include in the mix of a certain thing. Although it's still anonymous, you can slowly steer messaging to somebody by incorporating them in the gamified questions or polls. Mm-hmm. I'm totally new to this, so I'm speaking from like fresh, just having like as of I think like yesterday, the first time I went through this. We went through the cycles.
Maybe it's a good opportunity just to talk with teens, that upload that have this app, and to ask them why they do, not just as trendy, the new trendy things, but if there is something deeper. And for me, as someone who work in marketing to teenagers, we think about how brands, if it go viral, how brand can be part of this application. Like, I can imagine like a big brand, let's say Adidas, just send messages anonymously or not, to the customers, saying good things about, them, or maybe customers and teens say good things about brands,
Yeah, totally.
Can you imagine brands being part of this, play?
Yeah, I mean, you can see it. Like, I know this is almost seeming like just pure data collection, but even right here, would cry at the Apple Store to get out of paying for their cracked screen. It's like, it literally is exactly what you're saying. I mean, it's more survey oriented.
Yeah.
What you
can you read? Oh, I can see now.
Yeah, I can also read it again.
Joe, great.
At the Apple
Would
Store.
cry at the Apple Store to get out of paying for the cracked screen. So yeah.
Yeah. But you can see brand integration. So I think the tactical considerations are, how would you, or how have you already worked with, I don't know, they're not necessarily memes, but kind of meme polls, sort of pulling from maybe a more appropriate BuzzFeed to the the Quizlet style of data collection and marketing, but maybe there's more because there's this way to start to control the poll, not control, but contribute to the polls. Mm-hmm. And then what other sort of integrated feature sets will create this like, you know, interesting gamified social interaction. You know, it's like, I could see this as like I don't know, it pairs well for the whole like metaverse type thinking, you know?
Yeah. And you write a lot about metaverse, you know, and about the future of this connection and about how that generation is part of this connection and metaverse. You know, here in Israel, we just started working on business plan for 2023. And like the big brands ask themselves what will be in 2023. Like what platform will be the best platform to connect with teens. What do you think? What is your, you know, if I could ask you about the future, what do you recommend the brands, you know, to prepare? And you said metaverse, but you know, I'm not sure that I will speak. I guess I speak, but I'm not sure that I will tell the brand that I work with, you know, this year you're gonna work in the metaverse. I'm not sure. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think like a lot of like most of what I do and when I talk metaverse is just try to like understand how to like dumb down that thinking and into real world applications, like because it's very future forward. I mean, if you're not doing something in a virtual world space, like I mean, Roblox, Fortnite, there are lots of actual like metaverses, but the idea of the interoperable, you know, metaverse is still conceptual, being worked on. I think so when I like talk like this app and I think metaverse, I think of like a Roblox experience, and I think of like, oh yeah, this like I see how this may be paired with some other kind of virtual movement, maybe some limited character movement in this type of an app. I see like this kind of you know, could even have a AR XR type of feeling application to it, where it's not quite like I can't get toxic. Like I like the idea of removing the toxicity from it. But let me go to your other question. If we're looking at the social platforms for 2023, then like the first thing you always have to do is recognize that what's the best platform for the genre, the cultural groups and age demographics for your brand, and then be observant, be aware of all the feature changes, be aware of big socials battle right now, because with the Meta, Snap, you know, even Twitch, YouTube, everybody battling it. It can also create like a lot of opportunities for exposure. You know, TikTok, I mean, being on top, I guess.
But, yeah, but finally the brands need to choose where to put the money, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think like YouTube, Meta, like I'd be more specific than that. Like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
What about Discord?
I think Discord's great. I think like when we craft the media mix, if you will, it's, you know, depending on which role that the platform has, like in the funnel that's specific to your brand, which is very, you know, specific type of, you know, very strategic decision. You know, I like Discord as like a layer in, a step in. Yeah, like where it's like, hey, look, now we can have customer service. We can have this real deeper dialogue about why we're doing something. We can invite you in more.
Yeah, I think you said dialogue, because yeah. I can't find other platform that there is a real dialogue. I think Discord can be a place for dialogue between our customers and between the brand and customer, because Instagram, YouTube, I think it's two-way channel, but it's not a place for building your community.
No, the algorithm's fighting against you always.
Exactly, it's always against you.
And it's why like other services like Community, like text, SMS services, you won't have to use Community as the service operative, but the like text, email too, depending on like your audience and so forth. But
yeah, but it's funny. Maybe
Discord
people will listen now and said email Z generation, but it works. It does work, right?
It can,
yeah.
And depending on what you're trying to get done, like there's a I would text messaging, SMS is going to be safe, more effective with young people. Email's not ineffective, but getting to that community building place, like you need a space that either you have your own software where it's owned land, which I've been talking about for a long time, and people are now ready to start having like owned digital, IP like discussions again.
I love this vision.
Really popular in the early 2000s, but in Ning, how many of you listening remember Ning sites where you created your own very simple?
It's amazing. But you see brands doing it. You see like maybe major brands, but you see brands building their own platform, their own community platform, and not using.
Pretty minimal. I mean, I think.
You think it's minimal?
Yeah, it's pretty minimal because I think as we are moving, as everyone's getting more and more comfortable and knows how to build like Web3 type applications.
Exactly.
This is just going to be the norm. You're going to go back to like this.
What stopped them? Why is they afraid? Why they're not doing it already? Why?
Well, a lot of things are, people are overwhelmed with what they've got on their plate.
Yeah. Just the names we said, so many platforms, and it's free, and you feel like it's free, and it's not a big. You don't take a big risk. Okay, I will open a room in Discord. I will open a page in Instagram. It's not a big risk for brands. And if I understand what you're saying, it's time to take risks. It's time to build your own house, and call your audience, the Z generation, come to my house, come and build the community. And, I read about things you wrote in your website, about fandoms and about, brand movement. And I think if you're a brand that, understand fandoms and understand, communities and understand brand movement, you must be a brand to build a platform for these communities.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, or you risk being diminished as far as your ability to communicate with the people that you serve. And I do think like Discord communities are great.
Yeah.
But that has a place. It's almost like I'm not sure where Discord fits in a complete Web3, but
no one knows.
It has a place. Let's say it has a place because they're brilliant. But you need a place where you can have that important dialogue.
Yeah.
Or, the next flavor, that the algorithm, wants, that serves the next flavor of the month is going to be the only one that talks to the audience size that have like clicked, tapped, followed, subscribed, or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. So it's important. It's important to, it sounds terrible to say own your audience, but I mean, own the ability to reach them.
Yeah.
Which is why in B2B, like at newsletters and so many of this, like more direct communications have been very effective.
Yeah. I think if you build a connection, if you see them as your partners, I'm not, I understand what you say, own you feel not comfortable, but if you really look at them as your partners, you need to act like this.
Yeah.
And you think it will be more difficult or more easy for brands, to understand or to connect with Z generation, with all this platform and with all this technology and Web3, it will be easier or it will be harder?
I think that strong survive. I think it's going to be harder.
Harder.
Yeah, because there's, especially right now, and for the next foreseeable few years, maybe a lot longer, just because it's going so fast right now. You have to train humans to produce the content and do the community management, the actual moderating. I mean, like real deal, like moderating, talking and networking with people, celebrating, sharing content. You have to train them on, one day you're telling them they're in charge of like 9 Instagram accounts. Now you're saying, well, you have to do TikTok and you got to get really good. The recipe's different. The recipes are different on TikTok. The culture's different.
The culture.
Even from Reels to TikTok, there's a culture, very different culture. And then you've got Shorts. Now, all these people you're training they're spread so thin that, at some point you have to just stick a stake in the ground and say, we're doing these two. That's why our first step when we're doing a social platform strategy is just break them into roles, a primary, a secondary, and a tertiary. If you have the bandwidth resources to do 2 or 3, It's not okay.
I just saw some lecture in TED, and it was someone working in emergency room in hospital, and she said, if you want understand, what is a red flag, what is a green flag, what is a yellow flag, what is more important, what is really crucial, it's hard to deal with all, this pressure. And I think this is what brands need to understand, because they want to be everywhere. Every place looks, a place that, the brands need to be. But what is number one? What is number two, as you said, to understand your strategy and to understand where to put, your content, and what are the difference between content in Reel and Short and TikTok, and where you put your money, in the end.
Because it's a super, and this one's a really important, this is across every content creator. But when you think of the numbers, the stats, where Mr. Beast explains to everyone like how he went through 1,000 videos before he got into a cadence, before it really started to I'll use virality, because I think like there was virality to that, right? Not about, you're going to go viral if you do that, but there's the time and investment in, and like there's the investment in that platform, knowing your company, knowing how to connect you. And there's time there. There's time getting your formats right.
Exactly.
And keeping them, which is equally as difficult.
And the algorithm is just getting smarter and smarter, We can feel it in TikTok, The algorithm is so smart, And you said you recognize the brand, and, it's getting harder and harder to get noticed. Wow. So I think for now, we just talked for half an hour. So, we talked about gas, and we talked about our business plan for 2023. I think maybe I can offer in our next meeting, I'll be happy to hear more about, Web3, about AI, about, we didn't say nothing about influencer and about, avatar influencer, AI influencer, and in this crazy world, because so many teens follow, influencer that it's not real. And I just read in something you post about Samsung, I guess, in Canada, that, they have a avatar influencer and everybody think he's cool. It's crazy world. It's crazy, but let me spot a brilliant thing you said in this conversation. It's about saying for brands, you need to build your place. You will continue upload content for TikTok and Instagram, but start thinking about building a place for your community. If you really understand your community, and and saying teens, it's not enough. We will talk about culture and about fandoms, as you said, and about the difference between gamers and then other audience. And you need to understand your audience and to start thinking about building a place for your brand movement and for your community. So it's
100%.
Gregg, it was a pleasure. And it's always a pleasure. Yes.